everybody, what's happening? I am Tommy, and you are on the lifeboat. It feels like you were just here a few minutes ago. You probably were. I've got Russ in the top right next to me, and below I have Sam, aka Casper, two of my convict friends. And you know what, people? Before we get rolling tonight, even before we do the hellos and all that, because we'll let some people get in. Lisa Trimble, thank you so much for turning 5 people green. Let's see if I can find that, so I can put that up on the screen. But we're going to start this off. I got to ask my friend a couple of questions here, on account of the fact that he's freaking rich. And, you got to be careful. You got to be careful with your rich friends. You know what I'm saying? So got to. No, but for real, I'm being a wise ass, but there's been a lot of people that have been around this story for a really long time. And we did a couple of shows on this that, it requires a different kind of onions to talk about, trauma like that from your past. It's a really rugged thing to go through. So for those that don't know what I'm talking about, Russ had a long pending lawsuit with the Boy Scouts of America, and you probably don't need a scorecard to figure out why you would be suing the Boy Scouts of America. This has been a fairly famous case worldwide. Thank you, Lisa Trimble. I really appreciate you. Russ, bring us up to speed on where you're at with this case, if you could.
Well, as of Friday, I actually got a call from my attorney saying I had won my case. I was awarded an amount that, I kind of figured would probably be around $3,500 or in the, $40,000 range. Well, it turns out that I'm an instant millionaire.
How about that?
On paper right now, I'm a millionaire.
Yeah. Justice. Honestly, something? It doesn't happen enough. Hey, Johnny Scoville, good to see you. This doesn't happen enough. And you know something? I'm all for celebrating it. I really am. I'm sorry. The trauma is real and it sucks. And there are so many people that go through it. And there are so many people that don't get a happy ending. It's not going to make up for it, right? It's not. But it sure should take the stain out of it. You know what I mean?
The thing about it is, finding out that the guy who did this back in those days, and was up in his 80s, but he's still around. And knowing that at any moment I could walk out the door and go knock on his is just something else, A lot of guys got hurt this way. A lot of people got hurt this way, and I happen to be one of them. But and it does take the sting out of it, but
to be
think about it, it's not worth it.
Of course not. But 63%, we know this is a statistic we throw around a lot, but 63% of the people that that go through these things don't ever tell anybody, right? So if you think about the number of people in these lawsuits, that it's representing maybe a couple of percentage points of the people that were abused. So I always get very happy when these things happen. I never think the settlements are big enough, although $1 million sounds a whole lot better than $3,500. Right. It's it's one of those things that helps with the sting. But I love that. I'm sorry. I wanted to celebrate, especially since you have shared that. Hey, Reese, look at that. Reese is here. It would be really weird if she wasn't, because right on the other side of the wall. So I got to bring up some prison stuff, because there is some actual stuff that is going on, and I'm going to star these puppies, and then I'm going to get back to them like a smart guy would. See that? Yeah. Because there's actually some pretty wild stuff that's going on in the convict universe. So I did a story the other day, demonetized, because I talked about something that like the abuse of kids, and they don't allow that on YouTube. In fact, every time I talk about kids, I'm demonetized. But I did the story on these on the gay couple that adopted the 2 boys and abused them. And these guys just got sentenced to the feds for 100 years. Now, the last guy that got sentenced to the feds like this for a really horrifically heinous crime went to USB Terre Haute and didn't make it 14 days. Yeah, and the best part of the story, you fellas are going to appreciate this, right? Nobody else seems to get this, right? But listen, you love this. His estimated time of death was 10:30, right? 10:30 at night. So they're not sure how it happened. Right? The only person that could have been anywhere near that cat at 10:30 at night, apparently,
was Sally.
Yeah. You gotta love that, dude. Somehow he his own ass.
Yep. Right after they made him stand up for count, and then because you have to stand up now.
Yep.
We were there for that too. We were there for the switch. Do you remember why that happened, Casper?
Yeah, I do, but I can't remember. I mean, it was almost kind of like the same thing because
there was
people were dead in their cell.
And they had, in the course of a 2-day period of time, a guy had made a fake head and managed to not escape, but he managed to get out of a window and get to the yard. Which, it didn't do a hell of a lot of good, but he got to the yard, and they didn't find him until the AM because he had made it through every single count. And then they found a couple of dudes that were in their bed asleep and had been for a really long time.
Yeah,
like they were starting to stink from sleeping. And they changed the rules, and it sucked. People were
mad, dude.
People were salty. In fact, that was when they pulled the buses up and got rid of all of the people who did the work stoppage because they didn't want to have to stand up for count.
Yeah, I remember that. They were gone the next day. Yeah.
They were gone the next day. They showed up with a bus and just said, that's it, round them up, gone. I was loving it because I had been in a 3-man cell. Those 3-man.
I hated it too, man. I mean, I don't even know why I hated it because I stayed up till 2 every morning, and read, and I just didn't want to jump down. I just didn't feel like jumping down, man. I would wave. I'm like, man, you see me moving,
right?
And I would get super heated, and they're just like, you got to jump down. The only place they didn't make us jump down was Hazleton.
Yeah,
was Hazleton, and we would leave a slit in the window like that. Yeah. They were the inmates ran that spot, man. But we would cover the windows and we would leave a slit like that so the cop would have to look in.
Right.
Oh, no way, man. I've never been on that.
No other place that was like that.
I've never been
in
on
the
that.
state.
Even Victorville,
in the state, we didn't have. Yeah, we didn't have to get up. We didn't have to get up in the state.
Well, we didn't have to get up in the feds when I first got there, but they changed it up on us. But you know what's always funny is when they don't make you get up in the shoe either, because there's no one that's going to do it.
Right.
What are you going to do?
Screw you. You're already in the shoe. Just give it a finger.
Yeah, I'll move. There you go.
And just keep the light on you until you get up.
Yeah.
And I don't turn the light off in the shoe anyway. Right?
Give it a
put it on my tab.
Right.
Yeah.
Put that thing on my tab. That's a stupid write-up, but you start stacking them, right? And those things add up. You start losing a lot of good time and everything else. So the other big jail story is that Sean Combs is a little butthurt because the new convict on the block is getting way more attention. And in my very last live feed, I don't know if you guys were in it at the end of it, but someone said that Tekashi 6ix9ine is in the same unit as Diddy.
No shit.
That would absolutely be fascinating, right?
Yeah.
Both of them would be butthurt. There'd be 2 people in there, absolutely hated. One's a rat, the other's a toucher, right?
Yeah.
For real. And then you got a guy in there that, whether you like him or not, all he did was shoot somebody. I don't believe in the politics.
Hey, but
it's still an honorable crime.
I mean, just think of let's just use the Night Stalker as an example because he's the ugliest serial killer of all time, right? Look how much mail and fan mail that fool got.
That dude got married.
Just think how much he got married, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just think of, dude, the BOP's tripping, dude. They're bringing him bags and bags of mail. And not just from fans and not from girls that have crushes on them, but from people saying thank you. There was nothing. We always wanted to do something so we would feel better about, my mom not getting this surgery or whatever,
Right.
It covers all of that.
What they're doing with all that stuff, though, is the feds will bag it. I remember when it took me a long time to get to prison. I did the diesel therapy route, something fierce. I went to Pahrump and I was there for 2 weeks. And then I ended up at Victorville USP in the holdover for a week. By the time I got to Phoenix, Like my property and everything was already there. Like, it took a long time. It was a really brutal, it was a brutal transport. But I got there and they called me down to the mailroom and the guy was like, give us 5 names of people that are going to be mailing shit to you. We need to know the names. And I was like, the hell's that all about? But my case got a bunch of press and I had weirdos writing me. And I'm not being like cool, like they were chicks and things like that, because the vast majority of them weren't. But they were just weirdos writing letters and asking about bank robbery and, and weird stuff. I sold them. I put them in blocks like this big and sold them off to people. And guys were like, what am I doing? I can't do anything. I was like, tell them that you got way too much mail. And they had to give you a new number. And you know what I mean? I'm like, play this. How hard did you
do tell them you're broke. And yeah.
Give me 2 stamps. I'll give you like 40 of them. How's this? Heard stories about the roll call and programming in prison. Can you gentlemen elaborate from perspectives? Well, you know something? As far as roll call, so in the feds, there was none of that. You know what I mean? In the feds, they pop your doors in the morning at like 5 a.m., right? And the doors are open and you're free for the day. You're going to do a census at about 9:30 in the morning. They want to know who's at work. They need to count everybody because people have assignments and they do a census. And if you're in the unit, in theory, you're supposed to get a census. It takes about 5 minutes for them to count everybody. And if somebody's not accounted for, they know about it in 6 seconds. And the whole prison gets real weird if someone's unaccounted for. So if you end up out of bounds or whatever, it shuts down the entire facility. But then you're out doing whatever you're doing. You're in a city that's got, razor wire around it, and not a lot of women. But some guys are going to the gym to work out. Some guys are going to psych. Some guys are going to the library to work on cases. But there's just this little city, but there's no structure. They're not doing anything to make you, other than stand up for count, right? Like there's nothing that they're forcing anybody.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that is all. There's
if you're in a gang, if you're in a gang, I mean, I know this is, I don't even know if this, when I heard roll call, a lot of gangs will do roll call in the shoe out the door. I know, if there's 3 or more of my comrades or ex-comrades in the shoe, we'll do a quick little good night roll call and a good morning roll call. The Serenos do it really hard.
The Serenos do it hard.
Yeah. Buenos noches.
Uno, dos, tres, nada.
They don't say 4 or 14, so they say nada. Yeah.
And their enemies don't say 3. And you'll have them in the
3, yeah.
You got them in cages next to each other, right? Doing burpees, calling them out, and both ignore the other's numbers. Oh, what a bunch of silly shit, man.
Yeah, is silly.
But among even like at Victorville, the white boys had to be out every single morning. You had to be laced up, and you had mandatory chow every single morning. Like there was a bunch of mandatory crap there, but nothing from the authorities, with the exception to that rule being like drug programs and things like that. The fish program, they got one called the fish program that is a religious deal. They may have a roll call where guys literally stand like military, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it would work, honestly. Every time I've seen them try to structure anything, that the problem becomes you got to also worry about the dude to the right and the left of you, right? Anytime they try to do anything that requires people coming together, it's usually a problem. If they try to instill that you got to do the right thing by yourself, that usually works out a little bit better. Because honestly, comics are stupid.
Comics are stupid.
This is a great question. Do lyrics such as these ever touch a nerve with anyone?
Can I say? Let me tell a quick story. So that's people are so smart, man.
It's a great question, isn't it?
Yeah, because when I would have my little radio on and I'd be, in the shoe, pounding on the door, singing that, I would always just say, I'm just a man in a cage. Cause I didn't want to say I'm a rat in a cage. But I would definitely change that lyric when I would sing it out loud. And, it's so silly, but I know rat.
No, people don't go around saying that.
Yeah.
Every once in a while. So someone left a comment the other day, and if you left the comment, don't get upset, please. Sometimes you got to use these illustrations. But somebody left a comment the other day that we were talking about the show I was just talking about with these 2 guys that adopted kids, and they said, it's kind of on the state or whatever, but I got kids, and You know, I would never let anybody that has a felony within a half a mile of my kids. It would just never happen. Now, I guarantee you that person caught my video and might have seen 2 of them, but they got no idea who I am, right? They think I'm a motivational speaker, right? You know, they got, and my response to them was, I got 36 of them, bro. Like, you know what I mean? I hope you enjoyed the show. Every once in a while, someone will say something and it brings you back to that, well, you're kind of still a convict, and you know?
Oh yeah.
But for, you know, I think a lot of times you can forget it. Certain lyrics get me every time. You know, Queen, I just got to get out of this prison cell when he's singing that, because I remember hearing that in prison about 8 million times. Had it on my MP3 player, and every time that lyric would come on, I would think to myself, when I walk out of this dump, I'm playing that. I just once want to play that as I'm going out the freaking door. You know, you hear it walking the yard, you'd be like, I gotta get it. But I played that walking down the hall. I was happy as shit. That was my gig.
I really love that song. Whenever it would come on, I would love to sing it. You know, stuck inside these 4 walls. I love that song, man.
Tell me you can't grab any single dude's MP3 player and go through it, and there's a billion songs like that. Like, Mama Tried.
Mama Tried. Yeah, I'm the only hell my mom ever raised.
Yep, there was not. I swear to God, I never once saw an MP3 player in prison that didn't have Mama Tried on it. The brothers got Mama Tried on their shit. They do. They'll have it doctored up by somebody else, but everybody has that song.
Yep.
About 25 others, but that's always a big one. Same with tattoos. You know what I mean? Like I saw a tattoo just about a week ago, or I guess 2 now, because I was in Tucson. But a guy had a tattoo on his arm that said "Mama Tried," and I just wanted to walk up and go, "Where'd you get that?"
Yeah, right. Yeah. You know, I did a Mama Tried on a dude from Tucson or Phoenix. I mean, I'm doubting it's the same guy, but Jason's, you know him, Jason's brother Jared. I did Mama Tried on him. Yeah. I think I did it on his fingers.
You probably did it on a bunch. I mean, that can't be the only person you ever did Mama Tried on.
Oh, no. I've done it a billion times.
Dude, that's just one of those tattoos, man. Or what's some of the other ones? I'd rather be judged by 1. I'd rather be carried out by 6 than judged by 12.
13 and a half. 13 and a half.
13
and a half. Half a chance.
Years, 1 judge and half a chance,
Yeah.
Sorry. Now we've lost everybody. There also the other one that kills me is the number of times you see tattoos of people that tattoo calendars or gravestones. Right?
Oh yeah.
I saw a dude's back that had 35 gravestones on this cat's back, wrinkled old man, and every one of them was a year. And like this dude took his shirt off, and I just went, "Oh, brother! Like, why would you want that?"
With a prison tower.
Guard
tower with a brick wall. Come on.
Hey, Casper, you remember the guy that dropped the deuce in the lunch tray out in the shoe?
Oh yeah.
Okay, he had the twin towers coming down on his leg, and they were the lightning bolts. That cat was in the unit in the cell with me for probably 2 weeks before I went, holy crap. Like so guys have to hide certain tattoos because if you get caught with them, you get STG'd, they say in the feds. Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Red group? Yeah.
Yep. STG.
You get validated. You're a made man. You're a dirtbag.
Yeah.
You guys are validated, aren't you? Tell the truth.
I am. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never
seen a little bit of
it. A billionaire's lying. I'll talk to his lawyer. I'll talk to his lawyer. He can get away with it now. Do y'all get in deep discussions about your crimes with your cellmates or other convicts? You want to take that one, Russ?
Yeah. No, we don't get into deep discussions about our crimes because, you know, what we did, other than knowing what the crime was, there's no need to get into details.
Right.
I mean, sometimes if you have to point out a certain aspect of what you did to another person or to resolve the issue, that's it. But you don't go around talking about it to anybody. It's not looked on wisely.
It's usually not looked on wisely. I will say this though, I had cellmates that you get Casper and I talked a lot about a lot of shit. I mean, you get a cellmate that you click with, and
That's
but
true.
for the most part, yeah. But for the I mean, honestly, I can think of 2 guys the entire time I did time that I shot that like really got onto conversations with. Casper was one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and because it just the vast majority of people, and I watched Casper do it to about a half a dozen people that went through our cell. These people would come in dumb as shit. There'd be the first 2 minutes of conversation, and you would watch Casper just go, right? Like the screen came down. Like I'm not communicating with this person. I was telling
man. And you always knew it would happen when I would go right on. I'm not listening. If my wife hears me say right on, she knows I'm not listening. She'll hit me.
She'll hit
me. That's when you get that new fish
right
in there. It's a first termer, and what are you in here for? Trying to talk to him. I mean, I killed 4 people, or you know what I mean? Just scare the hell out of them. They were asleep, and I just decided to off them.
One of them is a cellmate wouldn't shut up.
And then the guy's going to be sitting up in the corner on the top bunk for the rest of the night, going, like that.
I was in the county. I was in the county waiting to go to the feds for bank robbery. It's such a big deal. How they do it in the press. I'm like facing 29,000 years for the number of banks or whatever. Like they always write it up looking really, really bad. Like you're facing
the gentleman bandit.
Exactly, dude. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
But the only people they would hire to work in this unit were looking at huge sentences. If you weren't going to be in the county jail for 13 months, they wouldn't give you the job because they just don't want to keep having to hire people over and over and over again. So I'm sitting at a table with a dude that's facing murder. There's another dude that's on a 3rd strike for drugs. He's selling meth, manufacturing 3rd strikes, looking at life. And another dude was back on an appeal. A black dude was back on an appeal. He's already doing a life sentence. He was back trying to get it turned back. And this kid comes walking up. We're in the intake unit. And he goes, "Can I ask you guys a question?" We're playing cards. I was like, "Sure, what's up?" And he goes, "How many days have I got to do on 14 days?" He's like, "I got sentenced to 14 days. How many have I actually got to do?" And I kind of looked at everyone at the table like, "Any of you guys want to take that?" And the guy that goes, "I'm looking at life." He's looking at 2. He's like, "I don't know how many he's looking at." He's like, "If you ask that question, your sentence ends in 5 minutes." He's like, "I will kill you right now, man."
Yeah. Read the room, brother. Read the room.
Read the room.
Wait, I got a quick.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, knock it.
Oh, okay. So, can you tell me? Well, I think I just blew it and showed you, but can you tell me what this sound is?
You crushing up chips?
Right.
It's a chili ramen.
Oh my God.
Dude, look what my wife found. Yeah.
Oh my God in heaven, dude. You gonna throw it on the floor to break that thing up or what?
Well, it's because I keep telling her, like, she's like, "I want you to make some prison burritos. I want you to make some prison spreads." And I'm like, "Babe, you can't find chili ramens on the street."
Right.
Yeah.
Right. She found.
I don't think I see chili ramen on the street though. That is a pretty rare one.
Yeah.
Nothing funnier than people going like this.
Well, me and my daughter, I taught my 5-year-old how to do that, and so we're gonna make a little YouTube video of us making them, and I'm gonna have her throwing them on the ground. So
nice.
yeah.
That's
I get a million views from it. He's like, "Dude, use the wall, not the floor." And I'm like,
yeah,
okay.
whatever, yeah,
whatever,
whatever makes you happy. How prevalent is illiteracy among federal inmates? I don't know that. So I'll answer you first. I don't know that I can answer that. The average dude isn't going to come clean on that. I bet it's a lot higher than we would imagine. Most guys that can read are reading, right? I'm always blown away when I see somebody that doesn't have any books in their cell. I always just assumed they were illiterate. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody in prison reads to some degree. You're going to be on lockdown. You're going to run out of batteries. Like you're just going to have to deal with being locked down. And the guys that don't read, prison would be hell if you couldn't. But they do build prison cells by looking at illiteracy rates in the 4th grade, right? That's how they determine how many cells they need to build for future. So I got to believe it's pretty high. What do you think, Casper?
When I was at Terre Haute, I helped out with, doing the GED, just kind of like as a tutor. I wasn't paid to do it. I would just come help out down there. and there was a lot of dudes that couldn't read. Really, a lot of dudes from Chicago couldn't read, and I'm not saying anything about Chicago, but it just a lot of dudes that got into the gang at a young age, and a lot of those cats couldn't read more than I mean, I was like, I felt bad, and so I would always try to help them learning new words every day, and but yeah, that was I think that was like really the first time I really like had felt some compassion for some of those guys, was when I discovered they couldn't read or struggled with reading. I wouldn't say couldn't read, but really struggled with reading. So at least there it was. I mean,
yeah, I had a fugitive from justice warrant, right? And so I was on the run, and I got picked up on a fugitive from justice warrant, and it was like $500,000. So I wasn't bailing out, and I was kind of stuck there. And I was going to court like every other day. The way that they do it there is just insane. There's a hearing for everything, and I was trying to get my bail reduced. So like every other day, I was going down there, and there was a dude in there that they brought down every single day, white dude, and the judge would say to him, "Look, you want to leave here? Write an apology letter, right?" And the guy would go like this, give him the finger, and walk out of the courtroom. And when we got on the bus about the fifth time I had done it, I said to him, "I swear to God, bro, I'm going to kick your ass if you don't write an apology letter and go home." You know what I mean? Like, I'm so tired of this. I would kill somebody to walk out of here. You got to write a letter. And he didn't say a word. And maybe 40 seconds later, I went, "Bro, you want a little assistance writing that letter?" And he just kind of looked at me. He's like, "I could do it." I said, I bet you could. You want a little help? He's like, "Yeah, I'd take a little help." And I got down there, dude. I wrote this dude's letter, and he was out the next day. And I should have following morning, like 4 dudes walked up on me, right? And they were both racist. I thought, oh God. And the dude was like, "Hey man, can I get help with a letter?"
Yeah.
I was like, hell yeah. He started handing me soups. It was my first hustle ever in a jail. I was about 18. Yeah. That was my first time. I would write a letter for anybody, man. Come over here. What do you need? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's cool.
Anything you want, give me a soup. But yeah, I think that it's probably a lot higher than you would imagine.
In the state it is, because I used to write letters for, there was this guy, Clifford Churchill, old biker, but he couldn't write. So I would sit down with him, big old giant guy. They called him Lockerhead. He was just so big. Yeah, they did. He was just a giant dude. I think he burned down the.
It's so exact.
Yeah, he burned down the San Bernardino parole office, or part of it, or at one point.
Nice.
But yeah, so I would sit down. He'd always call me over and go, "Hey man, I need to write a letter to my daughter. Can you help me?" So I would, he would tell me what to write, and I would write it down for him. I would help him out. I don't know if he ever learned or what, but that's what I always did for him. So a lot of guys in the state system, Lockerhead, he had a baloney patch, hair down to the middle of his back. He was probably 6'6".
What the hell is it about bikers being massive, man?
I don't know.
Honest to God, like the 3 biggest convicts I ever met were bikers. No, I take that back. 2 of the 3. There was a gay black dude that was the biggest dude I ever saw. They called him Mama T. Mama T was the biggest. Somebody's going to end up in the comment section. I swear to God, someone in the comment section is going to mention the prison because this dude was famous. People told me about him. I knew once before I went where I was going, and everybody used to joke about it. You just got to hope Mama T doesn't take a liking to you. Whatever, bro. Like, I will smack this Mama T.
I'll smack Mama T.
Totally. Yeah, right.
I'm telling you, man.
I was somewhere, and this guy's nickname was Top. He was a biker too. His name was Top, and I'm thinking that might have been Phoenix. I think it was Phoenix. His name was Top, and he worked in the kitchen. And when I go in there to fix stuff, man, one day I was like, "Man, why do they call you Top?" And he just like looked at me, and I'm like, "Dude, what?" He's like, "Why do you think they call me Top?" And I looked at him
because I'm on top.
Yeah, from his legs were like this, and like it was literally, and then he had the matching head like this guy could have been a lockerhead, and everyone used to tease him because they would say, yeah, whenever Top walks around, he's just like this, like like that. Like,
lurch looking.
yeah, just like head forward. And he kind of did. He kind of like walked like with his head forward.
That is so damn funny, dude. Hey, the huge freaky gay guys. I'm sorry, in prison, it's one of the funniest stories ever. It always is. But the last yard I was on, Casper, I shouldn't say that. I don't know how some of the yards you were on, but Sheridice, anything goes. Like if you walk that yard, you can't walk any other yard afterwards. Like the white boys got rules about it because there were guys with racks there. Like it was the wild west that way. But they had a guy there, white dude. They called Big Country. You probably have heard that nickname about 500 times in prison.
Oh yeah,
but the biggest Big Country you've ever
Especially
seen.
in California.
He was massive, and I worked with him in the kitchen, and he was a good dude. And one day we were out, and they bring everybody out for count, and everybody's got stuff because we're all working in the kitchen, so we're all eating stuff, and he was missing. They were looking for him. They're like, go chase him down. And someone goes, he's probably off there with his boyfriend. And I looked over at the guy and I go, Big Country ain't gay. And he goes, and I go, no, he isn't, dude. And he goes, no, he's gay. I go, he's way too gay. And this other guy goes, oh, no, he isn't.
No.
All right, yeah, I'm good. I don't.
All right, maybe he's gay.
I'll go home now. Reese, what is the Bologna patch? What is that?
Bologna patch.
Are you referring to the bullet?
Yep.
Yeah.
So where you got that big bologna patch right there, and then hair growing everywhere.
Yeah. If I just take about 3-4 days off of shaving, on the
oh, I'm good. I don't have it.
No, I got the Dr. Phil. I can rock it pretty tough.
Do you really?
Yeah. Well, here's the deal. Like right here on the top, I got about 45 hairs, maybe 50. So if I line them up completely perfectly, all one right in a row, it kind of looks like I got this strip that goes back. But if you happen to be taller than me, you know the truth.
All right.
Yeah. Looks a little stringy, and the only reason I grew it out, I would never ever have hair. I'm just not. I mean, I started shaving my head when I was 25. The only reason I grew it out is because I hit a yard and my best friend was black, and it was like every time I walked up to anybody, I got a goatee and I'm bald. Right? What's up, Wood? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just sort of disrespectful to my guy, especially because every time he'd walk away, someone would say something about, and then it's just a great way to get in a fist fight constantly.
Well,
don't talk about him like that, man. For real.
Well,
yeah.
I did want to point out is when I was in, I've got rhythm. I like rap music and stuff like that, and my celly, the key holder. Okay.
Yeah.
He was I've stressed this to you before. It's probably one of the baddest dudes I've ever met before. But our cell would be the only cell that would be bumping Tupac when it first came out, right, or Snoop Dogg, and it would just be blaring out, and nobody would say anything to him. Yeah. Nothing. But I loved it. It was all good.
Yeah, I saw everybody, in the feds, that was never really a problem. I mean, even I knew some white, like, bangers, guys that were, full bore racists that listened to all kinds of hip hop.
Oh yeah.
I know so many skinheads that love Tupac, and I used to just blow me away. Yeah. And I never got into hip hop until way later in life, and I started listening to some NWA. And then I did a deep dive because it was so good. I was like, oh yeah, I got to check this out. But that's about the extent of it. Only like old school, and everyone says that. Oh, I only like old school hip hop. That really is the only hip hop I like.
Well, the last time I bought an album like that, it was called
Run DMC.
The Message by Grandmaster Flash and the Furious
Grandmaster Flash.
I'm not even joking, man. I bought that on vinyl. I know every single word to every single song on that album. But then I just sort of I found the Grateful Dead and kind of went in a different direction. How many convicts who are out and you are friends with and or communicate with? You guys got a lot of people that you communicate with?
You, Casper.
I think I have. Yeah, I had 2 before I reconnected with you, Tommy, and then now I have 3.
Yeah, this is it. You're looking at
I'm
the
done.
only people, and there's one other guy that I did time with in the feds. I think he's about to get off paper. Like we got out maybe 6 months apart, right? So he's about to get off paper. He's done everything right. He's killing it. But he was the other dude that I was talking about. Like he was the other intelligent conversations that I used to have, and I knew everything about that dude's crimes. I knew everything he did. He knew everything I did. He was on the yard with me when they brought in Drew Peterson. So I worked with Drew, and Drew took a lot of crap, man. Like they dropped him in there to try to make it look like he was just a regular guy. They're trying to hide him in the feds. Can't hide Drew Peterson.
No,
Like he walked up to me and he goes, "I know who you are." I go, "No, you don't." And he's like, "Yeah, I do." I go, "No, you don't. You're Drew Peterson, and I would know you. Trust me." Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I correspond obviously with my friend who's inside. But no, most of the people I met in prison were crap human beings. I'm sorry, that's the truth.
Yeah,
I
have tons of people who reach out to me.
Yeah.
Hey, I found you on this and found you on that, and I don't respond. I don't respond. And 9 times out of 10, I don't remember them.
No, that happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, all the time. And in the state joint, we had a guy in the state. The state was wide open. The state was wide open. The white boys let a lot go on there that wouldn't go on in normal prisons, man. For real.
Yeah.
It was a very strange place. But there was a guy there who was flamboyant as hell, right? Just, hello, two snapper.
Yeah.
His name was Guy, and they used to call him Lady Guyana.
Hi, Guy.
But he was very, very open and very flamboyant. And about 2 or 3 years after I got out of prison, I'm walking to go into a Walmart, and this dude is walking across the parking lot, but he is not sashaying in any way. Like he is trying to walk like he is a dude. And he was with a much, much older lady who I assumed was either a really old mother or a grandmother. But the look of panic on this dude's face when he saw me,
I bet.
like, the look of panic, like I was going to out him or whatever. So I did the "What's up, guy?" through the hand he got that I never would have in the joint. It was obvious that this dude lived real different inside than he did outside.
Wow.
Hey,
yeah.
If you quit 2 weeks before you get out, you're not gay. You know what I mean?
I swear to God, I was wondering which
yeah.
one of you was going to put a time limit. Hey, 3 days from the gate, you're good, dude. You know the
Yeah,
rules.
you're good.
It's just for the stay.
Just smile. Let me see your stretch
or
marks.
hey, gay, it was a hustle.
Yeah, it's not gay.
Pay the bills, dude. We're kidding. We're kidding.
Yes, we are kidding.
Yeah, these are the jokes that never stop, though.
Right.
While being pro se or pro per is stupid as all get out, is there anything you wish you could have spoken up on? And this is another great question. In your court cases that the lawyers didn't represent you according to facts in your case? Oh, God, yes. Yeah, I don't know about the rest of you. How about you?
Not really. Man, it's been so long ago. I was dead to rights, and they had plenty of people to testify against me. No, not really. Not really.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Yeah. No, it's been so long. I'm sure there was a couple of times I was like, "No, you idiot," but but I went through 7 lawyers, too, and
yeah, no, that'll do it.
Well, I had one die on his way to come see me, or no, he didn't die on his way to come see me. He went down to Florence to see someone that was at ADX, and when it was my lawyer time, this other lawyer came and see me, and he just held up a news article to the glass, and I read it, and it was my lawyer. He got killed, and he slid off the road going up the hill.
That's a gnarly hill.
Yeah,
rugged hill to get up to. That whole part of the state's nasty.
Wow.
Yeah.
They had way too much.
How many did you fire, Casper?
Only one. I only hired one, and then the money ran out.
Okay.
I had a boat. I had a Japanese sailboat. It was a Tayana, and I sold that, and I didn't make any. I lost tons of money on it, but I sold it quickly, and Yep.
That's
And when
jacked
that
up,
money ran
too.
out,
Honestly, they're not supposed to be able to do that. They're not supposed to be able to do that. It happens all the time. Like the lawyer won't go in and tell them the truth. Normally the lawyer goes in and says, well, we have a conflict. Because I hired a lawyer once, and he went in and said to the judge, he's like, well, my client can't pay anymore. We've gotten to a point, and the judge is like, well, that's unfortunate. But you're going to be representing until the end of this case. And then you guys can figure it out, because I'm not going to let him get a new lawyer. Right. Go represent.
I see it all the time when on my court stuff that I monitor. I see it all the time. And yeah.
That sucks.
It sure did. It sure did happen. It sure did happen. But they're crooked up here. They're crooked up here, man, in Montana. One of these days I'll talk more about that. But that, like the judge who sentenced me, he got fired because he used the N-word in some emails on his server, like on the mail server for the feds. Called Obama the N-word like a bunch of times. And yeah. There was it's the good old boy network. It really is like what you would think it is up here.
The one story I can tell you that what I got out of was, it's amazing actually. My uncles are extremely smart. You know, they're all who they are. They ride bikes, but my Uncle Jason has a chunk of property where, you know, in the front he has a shop, the house, this and that, and then out back, about 5 acres back, he has this little trailer, like a half trailer, that he had everything in. We're talking trash bags full of Humboldt, you know, stuff, and, you know, probably about 15 bags of pounds of other stuff, and lots of
marching powder.
Yeah. Lots of ammo and guns. But when they raided the house and they took everybody in the house, which I was there too, they took us all to jail. And then they went out to that trailer and got in that trailer and found everything. They thought, Eureka, we're going to we're putting everybody away for life.
Yeah.
And my Uncle Jason was there, and my aunt and a couple other people and a couple other little guys. And Jason comes up to me and goes, don't worry about it. Don't call your mother, because you didn't want my mom to know.
Not afraid of the law.
Yeah, right. And about 2 hours later, they had to let us go. What we didn't know, and only my Uncle Jason knew, was that trailer in that corner of the property had a separate address. They did not have a warrant to go in that little trailer. They had to drop everything.
Yep.
So, yeah, that was something else right there.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, they probably had about $500,000 worth of product. So
I had a crooked lawyer once. I had a crooked lawyer a long time ago, and he was the only lawyer that I ever had that even including the one I married, it was the only lawyer I ever had where I thought, yeah, this is a lawyer. Everybody else, like if you want a lawyer that'll break the, like I've told the story on the boat before, but the lawyer came in. I got in trouble for stealing trucks, helping people rip off trucks, like the entire truck. They would pull up and just steal a truckload of whatever that happened to be in their golf clubs or whatever, and we'd, you know, sell all the stuff off. But my job was just sort of to ride along, and I kind of got trapped, and they took off and left they left me behind in the back of the truck and drove away and whatever. So I got busted, and they had helped, the people I was working with helped get this attorney for me. And he comes in one day and he goes, puts a picture on the table, and he goes, do you know who that is? And it's a composite drawing. And I go, well, it kind of looks like me, but it's a terrible, you know, like the nose is too narrow. And he's like, well, it's not you, right? He goes, it can't be you. It turns out that they're looking for a dude that did some foul stuff, right? And my attorney goes in and goes, look at this. You see this? This is my guy, but he's going to need immunity, right? He'll come in and he'll testify because it was 3 people involved. So in theory, I'm going in to testify on 2 other people that assaulted somebody, right? In the worst way possible. So I go in and they give you immunity or whatever. And the judge is like, where were you on the 31st of October? And can you tell us about, you know, Casper and about Russ and their activities in this? Who the hell are Casper and Russ? He's like, no, you got full immunity. Where were you on the 31st of October? Ripping off a truck. And the judge just goes, boom, like blows up like an atomic bomb in the back. He's yelling.
Yeah.
And the lawyer's going, Your Honor, I had no idea You know what I mean? My guy's a piece of crap. He played me, and he just sat there and watched the judge like this entire idea was mine and shit. And there's nothing they can do. Once they give you immunity, you're done, right? You confess your crimes. They can't charge you with them anymore. You just confessed them. You're immune.
Yeah.
But you need an attorney that's a scumbag. I mean, honestly, if you want to get off, you don't think
absolutely.
the guys that any hired are not bad folk. Those are bad people. Man.
Yeah.
You don't let the truth get in the way of a good defense.
Right.
Yeah.
God bless him, though. I mean, if you're trying to buy an attorney, there's not much worse of the feeling. Like, you know, I married an attorney, right? So I had an attorney that loved me. You can't imagine what that's like. Like, we spent days in court, right? Days in court trying to get a interrogation of mine thrown out. One of the interrogations we did with the feds. And after about 4 or 5 days of going back and forth on this crap and everybody arguing and motions getting filed, she finally came up to the court with the laptop, and I watched the entire thing. I'm like, what in it is it objectionable? Like, I didn't admit to anything. I was in there for 45 minutes telling these guys to blow me. Honestly, it was like just being raw. And she goes, nothing. But we want them to know we're going to fight everything. Right? We want them to know this is going to be expensive as hell, and that we're going to force them to do every single part of this. Well, you're never going to get a public defender that does that.
No, not in a million years.
You're not going to. That's not going to happen and you're not even going to get it if the person you hire is a high dollar lawyer. They're not going to do it. It's got to be somebody that just cares so much that it doesn't matter. None of that mattered. But once she got to the point where she was like, "I want to marry you," it went from, "Yeah, we're not taking this to the box." Right. All of a sudden, this lawyer that was telling me, "Oh, we're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win." It was like, "Look, we'll take the deal, get you out in 5, right? In 4 or something."
Yeah.
Street. Little different once they start caring, because it really does change the dynamic, because you're not going to win. Everybody, everyone that the feds takes to the box loses. Everybody.
Yes. Everybody.
All right, here you go. If you could rename prison, what would you rename? I was just
thinking about that.
Like,
Bunny Patch Garden. I don't know.
Something real nice and fluffy.
Right.
Kitties and puppies.
Kitties and puppies. Kitties and puppies.
Pavilion of totally inconsequential random activity.
Right.
I can't think of anything funny.
I think I'd call it hell. I mean, to be really honest. And no, you know what? I wouldn't say that. Let me take that back. Right. I've always thought hell is the complete separation from God.
Yeah. I wouldn't call that.
You're in prison. But it sucks. Right. How about, honestly, like the shit house wouldn't be a bad name for prison.
No.
Right?
Yeah. Shit house.
Right.
I mean, it's a terrible place to be. It's summer camp for bad people.
The land of no return.
Yeah. For real.
I can't think of anything funny, but hey, Anna Blarney, I promise you by next week I will have a funny answer to that. Okay.
Well, and you know what? And if I could just
can't find my post-it notes.
Person, I think I'd like to have one named after me. I think the Tommy G. Scoville Center for Rehabilitation and
oh yeah, the chain gang down at Scoville is real tough, man.
The ramen block.
Yeah.
Were you in the shoe at the Scoville joint? Cockroach.
Yeah.
They brought them in.
I've seen 10 guys get killed down at Scoville, man.
It's my favorite part, honest to God, my favorite part of hearing convicts get together is listening to them tell the horror stories, especially old men.
Yeah.
One of the only times in prison that I would sit around and listen to guys like Ear Hustle guys. I was in with a bunch of dudes, old men that were in the feds forever, that were over at, you might have even done time with them. They had been at FCI Terre Haute forever. And they were Southsiders, but they had participated in that riot in New Mexico. And that riot was so violent that the people that got killed, it was all considered hate crimes. So all those guys got sent to the feds instead of getting sent back to the state. But they were sitting there. I used to listen to those guys' stories, man. And it was a different time. It really was. Those guys had honor. And you know what I mean?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Honor among thieves. There's none of that anymore.
For convicts, yeah.
I love listening to even regular older people. I just love listening to them talk, and I love engaging them and respecting them. And I just had this conversation last night. Yeah. I know. I seen that in the chat.
That's funny.
That's what the girls call it. Well, I mean, and some guys. Some guys call it that.
Guys call it too. Yeah, some guys.
Yeah.
How about the land of the stinky ass?
Yeah. A feta colada.
Open shower hotel.
Thank God that's over, man. Thank God that's over.
I used to say that all the time, man. It smells like feta colada in here.
It's just foulness, dude. You know, there's nothing quite like a cell in the segregated housing unit with 4 guys in there that you allow to shower 3 times a week.
Oh, God.
Good time. It's good time. I was 14 years ago, Casper. Do you know that?
What's that?
I was 14 years ago.
I know. I did a live last night, and the only people that came on were people from the lifeboat, and it was super cool. But I talked about you a couple of times, and I was like, man, I can't believe it's been 15 years. And you know, when I first commented on your live, and you're like, Casper Cat, I was like, oh man, for like a millisecond, I was like, oh, maybe he doesn't remember me. And then I thought, oh wait, no, he's got to remember me, dude.
No, man. No,
I have lames that I've talked to one time hit me up on Facebook like, hey, Casper, you know, and they remember me. So I'm for sure.
Laughs, man. Yeah. So this kid, I'm going to tell the story. We're 51 minutes in. I don't care. So when they caulk the walls and put all that gray stuff on there, the kid starts chewing on it. It's getting all over his teeth and just disgusting.
Yeah.
The kid wanted pills that I had in there. Terrible. They were Wellbutrins. We wanted to snort them. And we were trying to cut a deal to get the idiot to do it. And Casper says to him, you can have it, but I want to ask you one question, and you got to answer it honestly. And the kid's like, yeah, 100%. He goes, you will answer it honestly. He goes, 100%. He's like, no explanation, just an answer. He goes, yeah. He goes, all right, give him the pill. The kid goes, what's the question? He goes, I'll ask you tomorrow. I completely forget it. But we were at rec, and Casper says to the kid, hey, last night in the cell, what were you doing? And he goes, just hanging out with you guys. What are you talking about? So just the 3 of us? And he's like, yeah, just the 3 of us hanging out. Did you have cock in your mouth? He goes, just an answer. Just an answer.
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks. Walked away. I was like, that joke was a 48-hour setup, dude.
Yeah.
Might even dropped it on a Friday. I think we might have to wait till Monday. But
yeah,
I wouldn't have forgotten you, dude. I had so many great laughs. I really did. That was easy. Yeah. It's hard to make people
super easy.
That. But that was a really easy time. And we had cockroaches running over our bodies. Like, that was the foulest place, but that was easy time. It really was. We laughed a lot.
It was. Yep.
Yeah, that was classic. It really was.
Show was.
But 15 years. You know what made me think of it too? So I get stuck on dates. I think this happens to probably a lot of people that have done time, but you get stuck on dates, like what day you hit a yard or what day you got arrested or whatever. But I remember the day that they brought Jared Lee Loughner in to Phoenix. I remember the day that happened, and we just passed it. We just passed the anniversary of it. And it was in 2011. Yeah, it was 2011, and it was like the 14th, January 14th. So it was a trip. It was one of those days where I heard the time and went, or December 14th. I heard the time and went, why does that sound so familiar? But yeah, it's been 14 years. It's a long freaking time, man.
Yeah.
Probably
that's a long time.
9 more yards. 9 more yards. The ramen block. Not a bad name for a joint, right? The land of soup, the land of ramen. Both probably would work really well.
Yep.
Good question, Noah. Do they let inmates know who's coming in? How do inmates quickly find out info about the incoming inmates? Yes, they do. I know the answer to this question. And you guys can answer it from state levels. But
I'm going to go grab a water. I'm going to go grab a water real quick.
Knock it out. I was a unit rep, right? This is actually a paid position from the prison. Like I wasn't a rep for the boys. I was, when you came in, I showed you how to use the computer. And I showed you how to do all these things. But I would get a sheet on Monday, and it would tell me every inmate that was going to be coming in during the week. And obviously, I didn't give a crap about, like, if it was a Mexican dude, I used to go give those names to the Mexican cats. If The black dudes, I used to go give
yeah.
to the black dudes. And then the white guys, we just started asking around at first. Hey, do you know so-and-so? Know so-and-so? You ever heard this name? And if that doesn't work when they get there, you're going to ask for their paperwork. And either way, you're going to. But
the prison warden always told us, in the state, you had that 1 yard warden that worked for the warden,
right?
And if he's usually on like a yard or something like that, and really, he's got juice card left and right.
He has the juice card.
Yeah. So, but he'll come in and let people know, or because he'll have a list of how many whites and then how many blacks and then Mexicans and others, and we'll know where they're from, and then from there it gets to disperse to the cars,
right?
So, and then the cars do all the checking, and then it's over from there. You're either going to roll up or you're staying, or you're going to get taken out.
It's funny too. It's probably the same way in the state. I've only been to 1 yard, or no, 2 yards, but they were the same custody level. But in the feds, as the custody level changes, like you get to an FCI and there's 18 guys on the bus, and 18 guys get off that bus and go out to the yard, right? Now, a bunch of them are going to disappear when they start running their paperwork and running them upstairs and doing all that. But you get to the USPs and you sit down with the head of SIS or the captain or whoever they got working that day, and they do everything they can to try to keep you from going to the yard. You ever rat on anybody? No, man, I'm good. I can walk in the yard. I've been on, I tell them all the yards I've been on. You sure? Right? They'd rather have you just stay in the shoe than walk out. And when I went to Victorville, they scared the crap out of everybody so bad that there were 18 of us on the bus and 3 of us walked out.
Yeah.
Like 15 people rolled it up before they even got it.
Yeah.
Like
whenever I got to a new USP, they would always tell me like, hey, they're waiting for you. They're waiting for you out there. I'm like, all right. And when I would get out there, the dudes would be like, yeah, we've known you've been coming for 3 weeks. Yeah. In my gang, guys in my gang, Yeah.
And they would have a package for you. You'd have, food, anything you need.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I wasn't in at 9/11, but I was in when Northridge earthquakes were going on, when that happened in California, when all the earthquakes were happening. So, I mean, we watched walls just crack, pillars crack. I mean, it was crazy.
Yeah, I was in Montana State Prison waiting for the feds to come get me on 9/11. And my cellie was in a wheelchair. He was a real famous Olympic runner, but not runner, a wheelchair athlete.
Yeah.
And had pictures. He was on Time Magazine, had pictures with Bill Clinton. But him and his brother used to go around and rob houses in Kalispell and Whitefish, Montana. And somebody got one of the homeowners came home and they ended up killing him. And so him and his brother, but his name was I can't believe I can't remember his name. Anyway, that's gonna bug me. Anyway, he woke me up. He's like, Casper, get up. And I'm like, what? And he's just glued to the TV because we had TVs in our cells in the state, I couldn't believe it, man. We just sat there forever and just watched. I was just like, wow, it was crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah, I wasn't in
Ted Ernst.
There you go.
Was the guy's name. Yeah. Sorry. I was gonna kill me.
I was a businessman. I mean, when 9/11 was going on, I was still a square. I was working, doing my doing my thing. I knew a bunch of people in that building though, because I was doing financial stuff at the time. It was a shit. Yeah. Comment, Justine, this is a good one. I was reading up on the last days of Whitey Bulger, and it said that the guards were talking about his impending stay at Hazleton in earshot of the inmates. The inmates knew he was coming long before then. The inmates were the reason he got there.
Mm-hmm.
That probably doesn't make any sense to you, but the inmates made the arrangements that made Whitey end up where he ended up. It's kind of a weird story. But he was Whitey
was hit.
walked to his death. He finally did the right thing in the last couple of minutes he was alive. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He became a stand-up cat in the last couple of minutes.
So crazy.
And paid, yeah, right? What are the odds?
Yeah.
Become a stand-up cat at 80-something. Yeah, I don't want to
Yeah.
I thought it was like 90 or something.
Could be. So what happened, so that this isn't too cryptic, is that allegedly, Whitey's family was getting threats. And they were saying, because Whitey was managing to fly below radar and he was really staying out of the way. Nobody could get at him, anything else. So they were starting to threaten his family. And and this was something they basically just said, you're going to go into general population, or we're just going to start bumping off people that you care about.
Mm-hmm.
So Whitey went to the BOP and said, can you move me to Hazleton? Pick any person in the BOP. If you're Whitey Bulger, you could do a lot better than Hazleton, right? That's that's where almost everybody from Boston is going to get dumped onto. It's a bad place for Whitey to have gone to, but he was trying to
get closest to Boston.
Yeah, that's Boston's USP.
And it's a bad place for any white boy from California to go to too, just because we don't get along with the Boston cats.
Really?
I mean, of course we, there's certain personalities we do get along with, but yeah, we just don't get along.
There's a lot of stuff in the feds that becomes kind of political based on where you're from in the country. That's kind of unique. I've said it before, and if I'm stepping on anybody, well, okay.
There you go.
The DC car.
Oh yeah.
DC car.
Yeah.
For real. I would rather do 5 years in a prison without those cats around than 2 years in a prison with them around.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Lisa Trimble, and thank you for turning 5 people green earlier as well. Couldn't find it to put it up, I don't think.
How does that work anyway when they donate memberships?
You mean how does the YouTube will randomly drop it on the next 5 people that leave comments?
Oh, okay.
We pick it, and those people.
I didn't know how that worked. Yeah, it was wondering.
Funny, you're from Boston. We won't hold that against you. Got a lot of friends from Boston. Got a lot of friends from Boston.
Me too.
You grow up in Boston, partially.
Pretty close, yeah. I spent a good amount of time in South Boston. Actually know a lot of people that knew Whitey real well when Whitey was free. I
impersonated a U.S. Marshal at the Boston Harbor Hotel.
I love
True
that.
story.
I love that.
Yeah,
that is
all you could eat lobster omelets or crab leg omelets.
Oh,
so
wow.
good. So good.
Well, just think, I told Tommy that I said, if I get, a nice little chunk of change, we're all going to get together. I'll fly everybody out for a good meal, good weekend.
That sounds
like a 4th of July weekend or something. That would be awesome, man.
Right? Bring your wife. Bring your wife. You know,
that would be perfect because my dad's in Michigan and we were just talking. I need to go see him before he passes away. So
it's only about 6 hours away.
Yep, that'd be awesome.
You're in Southie right now, Justine? Well, I'll be damned.
Poor thing.
You're from Southie. That's a piss.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I stayed when I was in Boston. That's where all of my gangster friends were from. One important thing you'd recommend for prison reform?
Not going.
I would just say better exit plans for the guys, and they're starting to do that. But recidivism is, I think just making sure that they're sober. Like I wasn't sober when I got out, I wasn't clean at all. Like I was dope sick when I got to the halfway house. So I was, there's a bunch of stuff, but I think just tackling recidivism in smarter ways than they're doing it now is, I think, perfect. And I think Trump has already done the First Step Act and the second chance and all that. He's working on the sentencing stuff, which is amazing. I just think it's amazing. Yeah,
he actually is. That's pretty funny.
I've got buddies that got wrapped up in that third strike law, and I mean these are good friends of mine. He got life, did 27, and then he finally got out. So he's doing okay now. But it's just a vicious circle. It really is. You know.
Yeah.
So, as you know, I don't like to go off on rants, but I've actually spent way too much time thinking about this exact subject. And what it comes down to, real briefly, is when you walk into prison, you look around the place. Tara Jackson, thank you so much. You walk into prison and you look around the place and you go, why is that dude wearing really nice sneakers and gray sweatpants when everybody else in here is wearing boots and khakis? And they go, oh, that dude sells dope. And you go, what's up with the dude upstairs with the chains and all that stuff? Oh, he runs a sports book, right? What's the dude with the guy over here? He's a tattoo artist. He's high all day, right? They give him dope. He stays close. And you start going, okay.
Am I in prison?
Job in the kitchen for $19 a month, right? I'm going to go get a job in the kitchen for $19 a month, or I can set up an illegal hustle in this room and start making enough money where I can send cash home to my girlfriend or my family,
right?
Opposed to asking for it to come in. So all you've done is taken people from the street, brought them inside, and said, "Hey, crime doesn't pay. Sure, it does. Does in here, right?
Yeah."
Okay, so if they went about it a different way, like if you went in there and they said you can't buy sweatpants or you can't buy, new kicks, you can't dress yourself. You got to wear fed stuff unless you got a job or you're in school, right? If you go 2 years without a write-up, we'll get rid of you where you're living and move you to a better spot. You'll have access to computers. You'll be able to leave your cell at night and take a shower if you want, as long as what you're doing isn't waking people and there's no. And you just start giving a little bit more responsibility to guys who do a little bit more. Because I can lay in bed, right, shoot dope, tattoo for 2 hours, and lay in my cell like this for the rest of the day and get the same good time as a guy that gets up in the morning and goes to class and then works a job, right? That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. So we reward and we enforce bad behavior in prison, right? Way more than we do on the street. And now what you're doing is that guy that's living good, you're going, damn, that fool hustles. Like he's making money. And you push up on him and start talking to him because he's the only guy living really nice in there, right? And he says to you, part of the country you from? And you say, Maine. What's blow going for in Maine? I pay about $100 a gram. $100 a gram. Listen, when do you get out? This is how this happens. And then he starts FedExing this guy kilos. Yeah. Like you never had a shot. Right? You're planning your next crime while you're locked up. And it's because of what you're looking at. You're looking at crime paying. If they took a little time and tried to make it a reward-based system that made sense, right? So that the guys, and by the time you've gone like Q's 30 years in without a write-up, he ought to have a key to his freaking cell. He ought to be able to go into town and get shit if he needs it. Right? I mean, ease people back into society, right? If a guy does 30 years without a write-up, holy crap, can you do something for that person? Right?
Yeah.
But he's getting the same good time as a guy who for the last 30 years has done nothing but do dope and watch movies. Right?
Yeah.
He's maintained a job at Unicorn.
No, that would be very smart to do. That would be very smart to do.
Yeah, it just makes sense. But you know what? They'll never do it. They won't because they're not trying to rehabilitate anybody. It's bad for business.
How is Q's thing going?
You know what? So I was telling on the earlier show, I talked to Q right after it happened, and he said, "I don't care if we win this or not." He's like, "I am not going to be bummed out if we lose." He said, "It's the only time I've ever been in court because normally he has to represent himself. He's been doing pro se forever. Right. This time he had a good ass legal team, right?" And he said, "We didn't leave anything on the field. Like this was the best game we could play. So if we lose, then we'll come up with another plan." He's like, "But this was the best we possibly could have done." Like he walked out able to answer the question that someone asked earlier. I wouldn't have changed a thing about how she represented my case. And then I reached out to her yesterday and she didn't get back to me. So she called today briefly and said, actually it was a text, but she said, "I think we won." She's like, "I really wholeheartedly believe we won this." Now we're waiting to hear back from the court. And that's usually like, it can take up to 2 weeks, usually not much more than that, but everybody involved, I wasn't there, but they're all pretty fired up about it. And Q said the look on the judge's face when they dropped that encyclopedia on the guy's desk, it said, "These are the letters on behalf of my client." It's like this thick. Like they printed this. It's massive. And I mean, we didn't. If he loses this, then we're just going to regroup and come up. Eventually we're going to get him resentenced. You just keep fighting. It's like the Menendez brothers. It's like anybody else. Eventually, the right person's going to look at this and they're going to go, what the hell is this guy doing in prison?
Have you heard of Blood on the Razor Wire? Chad Marks?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
He's gotten a lot of people some action, and he's an amazing cat, man. I'm reaching out to him to see if I can get on his show.
Yeah, anybody that can do stuff like that in post conviction work, those people are heroes because convicts are instantly forgotten about when they go to prison. Nobody cares about them anymore. Right?
You're right. You're totally forgotten.
Totally
That's
forgotten.
why you cut everybody loose. I'm doing my time.
Yeah,
you know?
It is one of those things where everybody's totally forgotten. I love that.
Yeah,
I love that. All right, people. I'm going to turn this thing off because my boy's on the other side of that wall and he's sick as hell, and this is about bedtime. But
we've been praying for him. Yeah,
I appreciate that. I appreciate that, and he is getting better. It's good that he's on. This is his second day on meds.
Good.
But yeah,
I'm sick too.
I'm a little freaked. Everybody is, dude. Everybody is sick. Everybody I know. My mom is sick. My brother's sick. Everybody. Quibbs was puking this morning. Everybody I know is sick.
I was sick today.
You see that shit?
Yeah.
You know what it is, don't you?
Casper, I need to get your number or something like that. Or I got to get it
you
from
give it to him right here.
Okay.
Go ahead. Spit it out, Casper. You got it. I'll start you off. 406.
No. Tommy, send it to me.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll do that.
All
Okay.
right, brother.
Well, congratulations, Russ, man. That's amazing.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Really
Like
is.
I said earlier when we were off the air, my sponsor would say, let the miracle happen. Just stay clean and sober, and life happens and things get better, and that you're just proof that that's a true statement. You'll get what you got coming. Yeah, it's amazing.
You never get to do the I told you so thing.
45 years late, but it was 45 years, and then the past 4 being brought up and having to live through it again. I don't know how many times I've called Tommy, and I mean, it's just having to deal with this, and then holding, being a convict and being through what I've been through, how I dealt with situations, too, Casper.
Yeah.
If there's an issue, you deal with it. I mean, and that's how, and it's hard to break, and especially with this, and it's taken a lot.
You say 45 years, it's taken that long, and man, that's a long time. But just think if you would have got this, in the middle of your addiction or something like that, you'd be dead. You'd be dead.
Yeah. It would have killed you.
Yeah. So,
But
God's timing is always perfect.
Yeah, I never had to pay for any of my addictions, so it was always there. But nonetheless, I'm out of it. I'm good.
I'm a big fan of doing the I told you so thing, especially when there's nothing negative to it. Because usually when you say I told you so, it's like you're being a dick. But I remember some times when Russ called where it was tough. You were having really, and I kept saying, you know what? Things are going to get better, man. You just you stay the course, and golly, they've gotten better. That is so fantastic. I could not be happier, brother. I really could. Feels like one of your boys got made. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I got my button.
That's it. Yeah. I like it. All righty, people. We are going to be back next week. Same bat time, same squirrel channel. Probably will be with Squirrel.
Maybe I'll have a new suit on or something. I don't know.
Yeah, big.
Oh, and my daughter wanted me to tell everyone she's not 5, she's 6. She just turned 6.
Dare you?
Okay.
Yeah. And I have some sister wives right now here, and it wasn't my wife that found the ramens. It was her sister wife, my sister wife. Something. Well, anyway.
Yeah. Well,
I got corrected.
Yeah, you got to start tightening up your game all the way around, dude. What's up,
Tommy? You got to tell your wife or soon to be wife. Her friend should have just kept in touch with me because see what happens.
Yeah, see what happens, man. The scratch off lottery tickets. Yeah. All righty, people. I will see all of you on the next one. Between now and then, reach out and try to save somebody.
Mahalo.